You can hear me now, right? कुछ ना कुछ लोचा तो मेरा होना है ना जरूरी। उसके बिना तो शबाना शहाब इज नॉट शबाना शहाब। क्या बोल सकती हूँ मैं। उफ भाई साहब। उफ। पूछो ही मत। कभी ये नहीं तो कभी वो नहीं, कभी वो नहीं तो कभी वो नहीं। Gaurang, I was looking for you today in the Forward 15 session as well. But you weren't there. You dumped me. Good evening. मैं पूछ रही थी ये वेदा मित्रा गौरंग सबके नाम के साथ क्राउन क्यों आ रहा है? क्राउन एंड नंबर 2, क्राउन एंड नंबर 3. What is this? Something to do with analytics? किसने कितने lessons देखे हैं? Sania, so good to see you, Sania. Vedika, Ayushman, Aditi, Vedamitra, Stuti. Happy to see you all. मीनल वोहरा नंबर 1 पे आ रही है। जो जितनी बकवास करता है ना क्लास में बैठ के, उसका रैंक उसी हिसाब से आ रहा है। या बिस्वाल। सो मीनल वोहरा है सबसे बड़ी क्रिमिनल, कूलप्रीट। हाय स्तुति, हाय हिमांशी, सानिया, सेम हियर। हाँ गौरंग, तो वेयर वर यू? सोहन, वेदिका, मोहित, सावित्री पति, सो गुड टू सी यू ऑल यार। हैप्पी हैप्पी हैप्पी। मीनल वोरा नंबर 1 पे तू कैसे आ रही है भाई? तू ये बता दे मुझे, वो भी क्राउन के साथ। मैं इतने क्लासेस दे दे के थक गई हूँ, लेकिन मेरा नाम तो कहीं भी क्राउन के साथ नंबर 1 पे नहीं आ रहा है। कोई चीज में नहीं आता है। पार्थ बोलो 60% स्कोरर इन 10th and 12th, 15 ग्रेजुएशन, 95 परसेंटाइल इन कैट। ओबीसी है, SC ST है, EWC है, क्या है आप, EWS है, क्या है आपके पास पारुल? 95 परसेंटाइल कैसे टारगेट कर सकती हैं आप? इट हैज टू बी 99 प्लस। हाय अंकित, गुड इवनिंग। हाँ वेदा मित्रा, 1 इयन एस से। मैंने इयन एस से कैसे पढ़ना है उसका स्टाइल बताया है वेदा मित्रा, गो एंड चेक इट, इट्स ऑन द सेम चैनल जहां आप बैठे हो अभी। It's a 20-minute session that trains you actually how to read Eon essays. Morning night today at 4 p.m. we had this forward 15 wala session, extensive session on tones. हाँ चिराग, ये डायलॉग मुझे अच्छा लगा। तुम्हारे हार्ट में मेरा नाम नंबर 1 है विथ क्राउन। आई लव दैट। कितना भी चीजी क्यों ना हो, आई लव इट। जनरल कैटेगरी 95 पे फिर कुछ नहीं होना है पारुल, 99 प्लस लाना पड़ेगा। मैं भी ज्यादा कमेंट करूँ है ना। स्तुति। First live class Vanshika, starting your prep, will I be able to crack IM ABC? Why not? You can get 99.89 some percentile. You can get a call from ABC. It depends then. I mean, you have to crack the interview after that. Assumption based अतिशय नहीं भी आ सकता है। 0 to 1 आएगा भी अतिशय तो मत करना ना। गालिब, क्लास में गालिब भी है। इजी से आरसी पढ़ना सिखा दू। तुम उर्दू ही पढ़ लो, उर्दू में ही तुम दे देना आरसी गालिब। गालिब, फैज अहमद फैज अब आएंगे क्लास में तो मैं क्या बोलूं। फ्रेशर, नॉन इंजीनियर, बस चालू मत हो जाओ सब लोग। 88899998 8888, ओके। नॉन इंजीनियर, जेम, ये वो। चलो गाइस, I'm starting the session. Should I? Ishita, they got stuck. बेटा स्टक्ड सुधारो पहले, स्कोर्स ऑटोमेटिकली इंप्रूव होंगे। हर्षवर्धन, I don't know right place to say. Use English more in mock video solutions. I have used English mostly in the mock video solutions because I was teaching English, Harshvardhan. But once in a while, if I break out in Hindi, you have to be a little patient and tolerant. It's not as if I'm going to stick to 100% English because I'm not catering to England and US. I'm catering to an audience that is more comfortable with English. So my classes are generally and my solutions are generally 90% English, 10% Hindi. You have to bear with the 10% Hindi. Got it, everybody? No, you don't need to be a plus subscriber for Forward 15, Gaurang. It's something that we are offering for just 299. And day after tomorrow, I've got my final session that is on main idea. Okay? It's only for 299 that a person gets to access all these things plus many more things on the dashboard. Yes, everybody, chalo. Let's start with the session now, all of you. Ayushman Biswal, Gaurang Podar, yes. So let's start. So Gaurang, today it was on tones. Day after tomorrow it's going to be on main idea, and I have already completed 2 more sessions under this Forward 15. The first one was inferences, the second was short summaries. So these are like extensive practice sessions. No problem at all, Stuti. You can complete it with the help of recording because this always collides with your application session. That clash has been there since day one, but we can't help it, right? Yes, let's go into the history thing. I was trying to generate an image also for this, but then it didn't happen in time. All right, everybody, let's go. Ruba, also good to see you. Neelu, Aryan, Divyanshi. सब लोग रेडी हैं? Okay. हिस्ट्री पैसेजेस कैसे होते हैं? पहले भी हम कर चुके हैं हिस्ट्री पैसेजेस. All right, and history passages are not very difficult. History, when we say history, what do we say? Yeah, Alpen, you're back. Good to see you back. Yeah, Vishal. So history passages बोले तो क्या होते हैं बच्चों? World War I, World War II. We have got Cold War. We can even put Enlightenment, Renaissance. क्या क्या थे भाई, बहुत सारी चीजें थी हिस्ट्री के तो. सो वी कैन पुट या अ लॉट ऑफ स्टफ अंडर हिस्ट्री. अपना colonization, great migration, all these things, and you have to understand this that genre are different. Genre generally overlap. Civil war to whatever war you want to bring. The only thing you have to remember is that CAT won't give you something like हल्दी घाटी की लड़ाई, पृथ्वीराज चौहान की लड़ाई, है ना, अकबर की फलां से फलां की लड़ाई, वो सब नहीं देगा CAT. Yes, globalization also goes in history. It's history and economics. Yeah. So history passages are nothing to be fearful of. All right, Ghalib and Paradise and Aryan. Very easily you can do these passages. So today what are we going to do? I have got a passage here and I have got 6 questions associated with that. It's a very doable passage, nice sized, about 5 to 6 paragraphs, simple language. Let's go ahead, let's take it up. Okay, and let's see if we can crack all the 6 questions. Yeah, forms of government from the past era will come in history and political science. Okay, agricultural revolution, milk revolution, industrial revolution, all those things can be there in history. Yeah, anything that was there in the past, whether it's connected with sociology or philosophy or geography or science, doesn't matter. Okay, so history is one thing that overlaps everything else. Philosophy is one thing that overlaps the other streams as well. Okay, so this is the passage up there on the screen. I'm sure this is all very clear. The screen is clear. Okay. How many paragraphs are there? 2 and 2, 4 paragraphs. Okay. So let's check this out. This is, don't start reading yet. We'll do it together. This is 1, this is 2. Yes, Aryan. This is 3 and 4. All right. 4 paragraphs. Now, Let's check the questions quickly. This is how I do. Central argument of the passage. This is main idea. You know how to take out the main idea. Ayushman, Chirag, Rakshit, Alpen, Vishal, Aryan. Right? Next. Oops. We can't check the... we can't check the answers. We can't check the questions together because I have given the answer after every question. Yeah, oopsie, a mistake. But that's okay. We all are humans, right? We make mistakes. Savitri Pati, I know. आज मैंने कर दिया ये गड़बड़. हाँ, हंसो मत विशाल. छोड़ दो, जाने दो, हो गया तो हो गया ना. एक एक करके देख लेंगे क्वेश्चंस. हंसो मत तुम लोग ज्यादा, मजाक मत उड़ाओ. Let's go over to this. कुछ ना कुछ तो लोचा मैं करती हूँ ना. Yeah, Santos, that's what I always do. I just look at the questions, then I know how to handle my passage. Okay? All right, let's do it. Chalo. One question is out ना. कोई बात नहीं, एक लीक हुआ है, बाकी तो 5 के 5 है, एकदम सॉलिड पड़े हुए. देखते हैं तुम लोग कितना स्कोर निकालोगे. Okay. Savitripati, तुमने oops बोला ना. I know you saw it. Okay. The rise of European colonial empires in the early modern period. Read this first paragraph, guys. Scan. Then I'll take you over to the next slide. हाँ एल्पेन, यहाँ iQuanta में फेयर एंड लवली दे रहे हैं, मुझे सप्लाई कर रहे हैं. Once you're done with the first para, be honest, Savitripati, just stop. Do not read too much. Do not read the second para in advance. Are we done with the first para, Biswal and Chirag and everyone? Sweethearts? Harshvardhan, are you there in the class or have you left? Alpen, are you there? Neelu Kumari, are we done reading this? Where are the chats gone? I can't see them. Okay. I'm going to check the... now they're coming in. There was some problem. It got stuck. Sohan, do not read the second para yet, please. Alright. Quickly, let's check the first para and see if we can locate the main idea. Jia Asthana, Tiger Woods, Rajshri, Vedika, Madhur, Vedamitra. Come on, sweethearts. The rise of European colonial empires in the early modern period was not merely a story of this. Not only, but also. So this isn't so important as this. We are talking about European colonial empires. Everybody should know what colonization was. If you're a CAT aspirant. It was equally a tale of commerce, credit, commodities. From the pepper markets, this is just an explanation, Savitripati and Gloki and Stuti and Santos and Vishal. Just an explanation. From the pepper markets to this, I'm skimming it. Okay. Economic threads that underpinned imperial. All right. Skim that portion. But the last 3 lines of the first para are very important. East India companies, whether Dutch or English, were not simply mercantile ventures, not this, not only, but also proto-corporate entities that wielded what? Quasi-sovereign powers. You can see difficult words are there. These will be there in CAT. Capable of waging war, negotiating treaties and administering justice. not simply mercantile ventures. So what were they? Proto-corporate. Let's say you don't understand the meaning of proto. Still, corporate is clear. Wielded, exercised, gave out quasi-sovereign powers. Quasi is semi, right? Quasi something administrative, sovereign, free, independent. So they gave out these powers capable of waging war something something. We are done with this. Fine. So the hero is what? Any idea about the hero? Colonial empires, maybe, right? Colonial empires. And then they are talking about East India companies, something gave out such powers. It was something more than just a business venture. Right, guys? Sohan? Do not read the second paragraph yet, Divyanshi. Just do it with me so that you learn the trick, the hack. Okay? What is often overlooked, however, is the degree to which the success of these ventures hinged or rested on not just on the abundance of this or the weakness of this, but on the infrastructures. But this is very important, trust and risk that enabled something trade across this. You have to understand only till here. Okay? Because the main idea is not exactly here. You have been given however. However means this is another point that is very important. It has to be taken into account. Right? This is just an explanation. This portion you can skim. You get my point, Biswal? Yeah? You still have a doubt as to what it is? Go further. Do not read Tiger Woods. I'm telling you. Moreover, colonial economies were not blank slates waiting to be written upon by European capital. Okay? They were not blank slates. Who? Colonial economies. Right? So we understand that the hero is something related to colonial economies, colonial kingdom, colonial imperialism, whatever, right? Not blank slates waiting to be written upon by European capital. So, who wrote on it? Who wrote on the slates? Local merchants played blah blah, middlemen, brokers. Okay, I understand that in this para they are talking about the local merchants. Do not read too much of it. It's all details, explanation. Go to this part now, Soham. Okay, this entanglement was far from benign. This entanglement, Chirag, go back one line, Savitri Pati. Which entanglement? Entanglement is ulajna. Entangled, entanglement. So which entanglement? Here there is rather. Rather than imposing a one-way order, early colonial commerce, we are discussing this, was often a complex negotiation between differing modes of exchange, blah, blah, blah. So we understand that we are discussing colonial commerce, early colonial commerce, colonial economies, and they were complex. Right, Vishal? They were complex. This entanglement was not benign. This wasn't kind. This wasn't nice. This wasn't good. So what was it? Some problem was there. Benign is not harmful. So that means something was wrong. The consolidation of colonial capitalism required the erosion or absorption of the local systems. They were built on these local systems. At the cost of these local systems, they prospered. As British influence expanded, this is just example. Correct? Then go down, skim, 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 go down. Over time, means after a period of time, colonialism naturalized its own institutions. Oh, apne institutions. Property, contract, wage as universal. Obscuring kisko? Historical violence, epistemic ruptures that accompanied the imposition. Difficult words, rahenge. The colonial world then was not just economically integrated, it was reordered. Okay, we got a lot of points now. Go back in case you still have a doubt. Okay, hero of the passage. Colonial economic world. The colonial economic arena. Correct, guys? Colonial empires. Not this. It was a tale of commerce. Blah, blah, blah. Then, skim. Not simply mercantile, but this. Do you see the important zones that I'm taking with me while I'm reading? Do you get my point? This is what I'm doing, so I'm trying to put everything together for you guys. So this is important. This is important. Yeah? Right? Savitri? I'm coming to that, Savitri. What is overlooked, however? Just hinged not only on this, but. Right? Something. In other words, they are explaining. Floated as much on ledgers as on gunboats. Right? Ledgers. Travel faster. Cool? Great? Okay. विकास पढ़ना है या नहीं पढ़ना है? चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Moreover, colonial economies were not blank states. So this talks about local merchants, right? And this one talks about some negative aspect, how they built on the local communities, on the local systems, the indigenous systems, right? Property, contract, wage, okay, obscuring. Do you see this word? Historical violence, epistemic ruptures. Who can give me the meaning of epistemic ruptures? Historical violence and epistemic ruptures. Rupture is joy. What is epistemic? Bolo. Where's the chat gone again? Philosophical, not exactly. Who can tell me? Somebody's downfall, pleasure. No, that's not epistemic. Yes, Aryan. Not example, Amin. No, not example. Knowledge, yes. Epistemic is connected to knowledge. Yes. Amin, Sania. Are we done with this? Okay? So we understand from the passage that colonial capitalism, colonial world, colonial economy is being discussed and how it ignored the local, the indigenous people. Yeah. Right? Okay. Knowledge बोले तो cognition वाला knowledge नहीं. Chalo. Question 1. What is the central argument of the passage? Okay. Check now. Let's do POE. Come on, guys. Himanshi, in case you are worried that you may miss something important, well, that's where you have to learn how to skim, how to do vertical reading. And the first line of every paragraph gives you the crux of that paragraph. बताओ, मुगल सैफ. But was ultimately a harmonious and symbiotic relationship. Tone. First elimination should be B. Yes, Savitri Pati. Well done. आंसर तो सबने देख लिया था. अमीन आंसर तो पता है. We are looking at elimination right now. Yes, Gaurang. B is the first elimination. Okay. This says primarily. This is generally a red flag. Red flag means there is a chance that it is wrong. It's set there as a trap. ठीक है वेदा मित्रा? Okay, Amin. All right. Primarily rooted in Europe's financial innovations and was less about military force or dominance. This is again kind of faulty comparison. This was more important than that. This can be a trap, right? So this can be eliminated. You can check, but of course, it's between C and D. Red flag, Amin, is something that is set there as a trap. There is a chance of it being wrong. Red flags we identify on the basis of our process of elimination ka system. The traps, the techniques that we have learned under process of elimination. Alright. Then, between C and D, European colonialism evolved through a combination of trade, military power and cultural assimilation into local economic systems. Evolved through this into this. Means, yeah, Vedika, European colonialism evolved through this into local economic systems. Means eventually the European colonialism became local economic systems. And D says the development of global capitalism under colonialism involved what? Collaboration and force with indigenous systems, the local systems first accommodated and later removed. Okay. Even if you've got an iota of doubt, go back. Main idea ऐसे नहीं निकलता है. You cannot be hasty. Alright. Go back to this. The last 3 lines here. First you check here was not merely a story of this. It was equally a tale of commerce, credit and commodities. Right? You can ignore this example. Then you see over here, the East India companies were not simply mercantile ventures. Right? Wielded powers. They had their own powers. You get it? Dutch or English, they had their own powers. Capable of waging war, negotiating treaties and administering justice. Right? So we talk about the powers under the colonial rule, European colonial rule. And the last paragraph, I mean you cannot take out the main idea without connecting it with the last bit. Vishal, come on everybody. Over time, colonialism naturalized its own institutions, apna institutions, right, as universal, hiding or overshadowing the historical violence and ruptures that accompanied their imposition. Means violence से लोगों ने oppose किया, खुशी से लोगों ने oppose किया, जो भी किया, everything was hidden. It was obscured, it was brushed under the carpet. The colonial world then was not just economically integrated, it wasn't integrated, not just integrated, it was epistemically reordered. Okay, and this line says it was far from benign. Cool, now I take you back to this. So, between C and D, which one has the tone? Go on guys. Evolved through a combination of this into local economic systems. No, but the last paragraph says they made their own institutions and pronounced them universal. Right? So this gets eliminated and this should be your answer. Negative, exactly. The passage has a negative tone. Stuti, bye-bye, take care. Okay, so the passage has a negative tone. Option C has a completely neutral tone and says local economic systems ban gaya, European system. Yes, exactly, Gaurang. The whole passage talks about how they ignored the indigenous systems, the local systems, and how they overrode them. So this is better. All right, Savitripati, come on, next one. What does the author imply about financial instruments like bookkeeping and insurance? A simple inference question. Right, guys? Chaliye. Gaurang, Divyanshi, Pati, Ranu. Financial instruments like bookkeeping and insurance. I'll take you back. Just locate it, set your range, and then read it. Insurance, bookkeeping. So we find it here, Gaurang. We set our range like this, 2 lines up, 2 lines down. Vedika, but we were not looking for a summary question. Na? Summary mein the hero has to be in the first part. We were looking for a main idea question. Main idea is not the hero. Hero was colonial rule. Main idea was how capitalism was practiced or how their institutions ignored the local institutions. That was actually the angle that we were discussing. These colonial powers, these colonial, what were these? East India companies, they had their own power. This is what the paragraph says, the passage says. Checked here. What is overlooked? Success hinged on not just this, but infrastructures of trust and risk that enable trade across vast distances. Bills of exchange, blah blah blah, these seemingly dry instruments form the backbone of an expanding global economy. And then if you're not able to understand, in other words, it's given. Okay, options. Chaliye. Go with elimination, everybody, please. Meenal, come on. Jia. C is eliminated. Okay. These tools of finance, kahan gaya? C. Such instruments created illusions of economic control that were often belied by on-ground realities. Rachita, A is eliminated because of attention, historical attention. I'll take you back once again. Check what is written. Infrastructures of trust and risk. भाई ये क्या होते हैं? बिल्स ऑफ अकाउंट जो होते हैं, बुक कीपिंग एंड डबल एंट्री बुक कीपिंग, इंश्योरेंस, बिल्स ऑफ एक्सचेंज, क्या होते हैं ये? Infrastructures of trust and risk that enable trade. For that, the example is being given here. Bills of exchange, blah, blah, blah. These seemingly dry instruments form the backbone of what? Expanding global economy. In other words, what happened? Floated the empire. What did the empire do? Floated as much on ledgers, right, as on gunboats, military, violence, ladai. And in many cases, these financial instruments traveled faster than the goods they represented, shaping blah, blah, blah. Right? So he has talked about these financial instruments and their importance in shaping things in the empire. Right? Go on now. Only that much is written there. So whatever else is there should be just eliminated. First elimination should be D. They helped propagate a capitalist worldview that clashed with and eventually erased. Did these instruments do that? Gaming, did these instruments do such a thing? No, right? So D is eliminated. Yes, you guys got it. D is eliminated. Sanya. Such instruments created illusions of economic control that were often belied by on-ground realities. Illusion. Have they mentioned that? They said that these were important in building the empire, in fetching them trust and trade. They enabled trade. The empire was able to do trade because of that. So C is eliminated. It's only between A and B. Yeah? Come on. Yes. Between these two, what do? Biswal and Chirag, we take one and we prove it. They played an equally important role in imperial expansion. The empire was able to do trade globally, they have said. As military conquests, gunboat and ledgers, they have given that point, and thus deserve more historical attention. They should be given attention, right? Equally important role, equally is a trap or not, go back and check. Equally. As much on ledgers as on gunboats. As much, right? So option A is proved. It fits the bill. This is what you're supposed to do when you're left with two options. Take one, go back and prove. Correct? Imported into colonies as part of an aggressive strategy to transform local economies? No, these were helping the empire build up. What if historical attention was not mentioned as military conquest and thus deserve more equally important? Still it would have been correct. Yes, Gaurang. Himanshi, thus deserve more historical attention? I'll take you back. Wait. Here. Shaping perceptions and expectations, right? What is overlooked, however? That means we have overlooked this thing, that these bills of exchange, these marine insurance, double entry bookkeeping, the dry instruments, these have been overlooked. The importance of these have been overlooked. Not just on this, but on the infrastructures of this. So, these have been overlooked, he says. That means these should get more importance. Got it? Right? Chalo. Move on to the next question. Okay, question 3. What is the tone of the passage? Critical and dismissive, analytical and historically reflective, celebratory, neutral and dispassionate. First check the word and then check the explanation. Dispassionate, merely chronicling. Eliminated, right? Is he dismissive? This is extreme. It's eliminated. It's between B and C. Yes. Analytical, he has analyzed, he has assessed, he has taken the pros and cons and whatever, not pros and cons, but he has looked at both sides of the coin. And historically reflective, subtle critique, colonial narratives. He says that in the colonial narratives, ye dekho, not merely a this, the rise of this, and overlooked. Colonial narratives lacked something. This is what he says. So, colonial narratives ka halka phulka criticism he has come up with. Critique means, subtle critique means he has analyzed those. Right? So, this should be your answer. B. Okay. Chalo. Question 4. Weaken the argument presented in the final paragraph. Santos, subtle criticism means halka phulka criticism. बहुत लड़ने झगड़ने types नहीं. What is the argument presented in the last para? Let's go back. Check now. Eventually required the erosion of this. Increasingly undermined local people, local networks, substituting them with other systems. And colonialism naturalized its own institutions as universal, बाकियों को obscure कर दिया, right? Done. If we weaken it, what are we going to say? We are going to say no, no. No, they did not do this. The local people were not ignored. This is what we have to say. Right? They were not obscured, they were not tortured, they were not wiped out. They were given value or they existed, right? In this, indigenous we are not able to find out. So this is eliminated, right? European traders were often at the mercy of monsoon patterns that disrupted. Okay, so where is the indigenous, the local wala? Eliminated. Here we have local and here indigenous merchants. So it's between A and B. Right, guys? Now we need to go back and check the claim once again. Everybody, the claim. Here. Identify the claim properly, otherwise you're going to make a mistake. Erosion of this. As British influence expanded, the company increasingly undermined local credit networks and revenue arrangements, substituted them with systems that were more pliable, more adjustable to extraction and control. Right? Getting it? And it brought its own institutions in place. What institutions? Credit control, credit networks, revenue arrangements, right? The local ones were kind of undermined. The local ones were not given importance. So we have to say, no, no, the local ones were given some importance. Correct? And then, where is the main claim? This is what it was, required the erosion. Property, contract, wage. ये दिख रहा, more amenable to extraction and control. Naturalized, all right, obscuring this. Okay? Not just economically integrated, epistemically reordered. Yeah? Chaliye. Go on. Between these two, which one weakens it more? Most weaken बोला है इसने. Okay, what's the difference between the two? Come on. B says colonial administrators in India consistently relied on local elites to implement revenue collection systems. Okay? Local elites, right? Consistently relied on local elites. Elites. Fine. यहाँ पे clearly बोला है इसने increasingly undermined local credit networks, substituting them with systems that were more viable for extraction amenable to extraction and control. Later, they came up with their own institutions, right? And then it says, obscuring the violence and epistemic ruptures that accompanied their imposition. They tried to impose these things and the people objected. There was violence and then epistemic ruptures that accompanied their imposition. Everything was hidden away. Okay, now I take you back to this. In India, consistently relied on local elites, not local people, not local merchants. This one says indigenous merchants in Bengal voluntarily adopted British this due to their perceived efficiency. Means the claim in the last paragraph was that these were wiped out. I mean, these were kind of obscured with coercion, with force. Imposition was there. This is what the last paragraph says. There was imposition. Yes. So here this says these people adopted these instruments, their systems, the British systems that came, those were adopted voluntarily without imposition. So this weakens it. Why not be? Why not be, Biswal? Because of local elites. Ye dikh raha hai. This word is not proper. They consistently relied on local elites. So that doesn't weaken the claim that these were accepted. Elites was definitely different from the local merchants. You get it? So elites yahan nahi hota na. Relied on local money lenders to implement revenue collection. Then this could have been your answer. So between this and this, obviously because of voluntarily, A is your answer. Okay? Chalo, next one. Question 5. No problem, Sanya. We learn. So between the two, it was close, but then, elites made it wrong. ठीक है हिमांशी? Aryan. Inferred. Early colonial trade. Come on. What is the author's view? Nature of early colonial trade. Eliminate karo bas, guys. From the outset, from the beginning, irrespective of regional differences. Okay. Initially hybrid, which later transitioned into domination and displacement. Unilateral imposition on passive indigenous societies. I'll take you back. Early colonial trade. Chaliye. This one talks about financial instruments, so we can ignore this para. Check this first para. Okay, Biswal. And then you can go to the third para. Local merchants, middlemen, and brokers played indispensable roles in mediating between foreign traders and indigenous systems of value, right? Yet this entanglement was far from benign. Okay, eventually something. Yes, Himanshi. So question number 5. My first elimination is what Himanshi said. Yes, D is eliminated. Same logic across all colonies, irrespective of regional differences in local economies? Definitely not. Yeah, Ranu? At the outset, in the beginning, they weren't like this. They took the help of indigenous people, they involved them, right? That is what the third para said. Hai na Himanshi? Hai na Ranu? So it was primarily driven by European military superiority, and this is kind of a red flag. Political coercion from the outset? No, in the beginning they involved those people. Yeah, so it was between A and B now. Yes, Nandini. Unilateral imposition is one-sided. European economic dominance on passive indigenous societies, and this says initially mutual engagement, later transitioned domination displacement. Which one is better? Shatayu? Yes, B is better, definitely. Cool. All right, chalo, last question. ये हो गया शायद, right? नहीं, this is another question related to that same point. करो इसको. Author's perspective on the role of financial tools like this. पीटर पैन, ये तो मैं खुद बोलती हूँ, माई टेक्निक्स आर रबिश, दे वोंट वर्क. फिर भी ये बच्चे देखो बेवकूफ है, आके बैठते हैं क्लास में. समझा इनको तू? हाँ भाई, क्वेश्चन 6 देख लो प्लीज. हिमांशी, they were neutral technologies that served all traders equally. Do you see this? Out. They were part of a broader toolkit that allowed empires to extend control without immediate physical presence. We'll go and check, I'm not sure. They were primarily symbolic instruments that had limited practical utility. वहां तो तारीफ की है उसने उस पैरा में. Right guys? So this is eliminated. Yeah? This is out. Now we are left with B and D. Cool? अरे that's okay प्रियांशु, let him spam. आज का उसका टारगेट ही वही है. Go to Shabana Ma'am's class and spam. Let him do it. वो भी बेचारा खुश रहेगा. तुझे क्या है? हाँ चलो. So between B and D, they were designed specifically to destabilize indigenous economies and enforce dependency. Yeah. चल गौरंग, ignore please. हाँ आ जाओ. And B, they were part of a broader toolkit. I'll just take you back. Yeah, of course, Meenal, we need to go back. इतने हम तोप थोड़े हैं कि बिना देखे we can just do it. Go back. What is the tone of the author towards these instruments? Sometimes, guys, you have to just go with elimination, and whatever the eventual answer is, you may or may not agree with it. But with elimination, that is what happens. This works so well in CAT. Okay. In ZAT RC passages, there is a lot of ambiguity. But CAT may elimination really works. Yes, Himanshi, you're right. Designed specifically, और ये है ना Himanshi, the paragraph doesn't talk ill of these, है ना Himanshi? So destabilize indigenous economies. No, the empire was trying to do that, but then these instruments, bichare, they didn't do that. Right, Savitripati? So they were part of a broader toolkit that allowed empires to extend control without immediate physical presence. You can go back and check. All right, travel faster than the goods they represented, shaping perceptions and expectations long before cargo reached its port. That is rephrasing given. Yes, Nitin. Yes, Savitri. Clear. Chalo, guys. Gaurang. So what was the score today, guys? I need to know that, please. Out of 6 today, a very good score would be anything greater than equal to 3. Because the questions were slightly, on a higher level. So moderate to difficult. I mean, if I rate them on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give them a straight 8. No problem, Rahul. We will improve. 5 upon 6, Savitripati, bhai, that is incredible and unbelievable. 5 is unbelievable. Peter Panthi, what was your score? You got 2 correct. Tiger Woods, doesn't matter. Maybe you were thinking about your girlfriend. It's okay. Next time sit with more focus. First question छोड़ के Vedamitra, cool, perfect. Ranu 5/6 is incredible. Yes, Aryan, amazing. Cheating की तूने. Vishal, you too. Himanshi, I have noticed you, Himanshi, you are working very hard. So continue doing that and please do your daily reading, guys. I have been saying this repeatedly. Please do your daily reading. वरना बाद में मुझे मत बोलना. 5/6 is incredible, Meenal. Priyanshu, Nandini, 3 is good, but we are going to improve. Okay, Divyanshi, Aryan, इजाजत दो. हाँ बोलो Morning Star. Mapping doesn't work for you. Okay, facing issues with accuracy. Morning Star, mapping won't work in 1 or 2 sessions. Now you have to practice consistently and persistently. You have to try to map the passage. Then it will work. Morning Star, please go and check my RC100 series. RC100. That's a playlist on the same channel. If you sit with me for every session in that series, you will understand gradually how mapping is done. आर्यन छोड़ना, उसने चेंज किया तो तुझे क्या है? Yes, gaming, day after tomorrow. Day after tomorrow, that is 19th. I have got a main idea session as part of Forward 15 and I look forward to seeing you all there. You learned a lot, Rudrock. Red Rock. Thank you so much for saying that. You made my day. Thank you. हाँ विशाल बोलो. कैसे कभी कभी दिमाग काम करना बंद हो जाता है. अरे मेरा तो हर वक्त काम नहीं करता, मैं क्या करूं फिर, कैसे बताऊं विशाल, खुद ही करना पड़ता है ना. Gaurang, you can just go to the link na in the description box below. Yes, gaming, it's going to be in the open group, that Facebook पे जो open group है ना, iQuanta वाला. Divyanshi, it's at 4 p.m. Today we did tones at 4 p.m. Meenal, your score has improved and today I'm telling you these questions were really on the tougher side. But if you could get these questions means your inference, your rephrasing is improving. Morning Star, you are in Delulu. पैसेज आपको समझ नहीं आ रहा है या आपको लगता है कि आपको पैसेज समझ आ रहा है, क्वेश्चंस नहीं हो पा रहे हैं. यही होता है डेलुलू जो जाकिर खान ने इतना समझाया है. सानिया, थैंक यू सो मच. आई लुक फॉरवर्ड टू सीइंग यू अगेन. बाय बाय गाइस. सब लोग अपने डेलुलू से बाहर निकल आओ. जैसे मैं भी कोई डेलुलू में नहीं रहती हूँ. पीटर पैन ने भी बोला आज मेरे टिप्स बकवास हैं, हिंट्स बकवास. मैं डेलुलू से बाहर आ गई. राइट, आप लोग भी डेलुलू से बाहर आ जाओ. जिसको पैसेज समझ में आ रहा है ना वो क्वेश्चन सॉल्व कर लेगा. इफ यू आर नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड इफ यू आर नॉट एबल टू सॉल्व द क्वेश्चंस, दैट मींस योर कॉम्प्रिहेंशन इज वेरी वीक. अनमोल देखो, आई लाइक योर ऑनेस्टी. यू कैन नॉट अंडरस्टैंड आरसी पैसेजेस, इट्स ओके, आई अंडरस्टैंड. यू हैव टू इंप्रूव योर रीडिंग. Unless you improve your reading, it's not going to work out. फिर cat छोड़ दो आप. Yes, curly girl. Why are you requesting so many times? I'll guide you. Just get started with this curly girl. ये जो है ना मेरा same channel पे you'll find RC100 series by Shabana. So just get started with that. It will help you. Aryan, if you are a subscriber, you'll find the list on the FB group, whatever batch you are part of. Eon essays. Okay, Eon essays पढ़ने का सही तरीका अतुल, पहले तो एक वीडियो मैंने डाला है इसी चैनल पे. Go and take that and give yourself some diverse reading. Only Eon essays नहीं. Scientific American, Smithsonian, Eon, Blue कह रही हूँ, Big Think, Atlantic, Guardian, New York Times. अलग अलग sources दो अपने आप को and try to cover good topics. Randomly read मत करो. हिमांशी, Forward 15 एक वो है हिमांशी हमारा इनिशिएटिव जिसमें 4 p.m. वाले में people who are not subscribers are getting access at $2.99. ये limited access. Morning Star, just get started with this RC100. Morning Star, I'm telling you it will help you. ओके, और बोलो गाइस, एनी अदर डाउट्स? प्रियांशु, रीडिंग बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है प्रियांशु, कितनी भी आरसी प्रैक्टिस कर लो, इफ यू आर नॉट रीडिंग, होने वाला तो नहीं है। अनलेस यू आर अ बिग रीडर, एविड रीडर, उसको रीडिंग की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी। हाँ, वो कैब वीक है ना अनमोल, तो वो कैब इंप्रूव तो आपको ही करना है। हाँ हिमांशी, दिस इज फ्री, दिस इज ऑन द सेम चैनल, इट कम्स इन द फॉर्म ऑफ रिकॉर्डिंग्स। आज RC 30th मेरा स्ट्रीम हुआ है, आप उसको शुरू करो 30 एंड बैकवर्ड्स, जस्ट गो बैकवर्ड्स हिमांशी एंड यू अटेंड दोज सेशंस। 10 सेशंस के बाद ना आप खुद ही वापस आके मुझे बोलेंगी, मैम आई एम एंजॉइंग दोज सेशंस एंड आई कैन सी सम इम्प्रूवमेंट। Thank you, gaming. Thank you so much for saying that. You really and truly made my day. Thank you. Best option. Okay, Karthik. Reading level improve karo bhai. Curly girl, tell me, free source available not good enough. Is it necessary to buy subscription? Yes, you can buy a subscription. See, now only 4 months are left. Curly. Free source that's available is good, Curly. But then the thing is, we can't give out everything free on the YouTube channel, right? These are given in bits and pieces, random bits and pieces. If you take a subscription, what happens? You get everything in a structured way. Plus, there are many more, what do you call, products for subscribers that are there. Bye, Gaurang. Number 1 दिखा रहा है तुम्हारे साथ क्राउन का। वो क्या आपके लिए? नॉर्मन लुइस का वर्ड पावर मेड इजी। ओके, और बोलो। ठीक है, चलो बाय गाइस, हिमांशी एंड एवरीबॉडी, टेक केयर, बाय 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 बाय। यू नॉर्मन लुइस कर लिया तुमने अनमोल? सीरियसली? चलो पेरीपटेटिक का मीनिंग बता दे अनमोल, विदाउट चेकिंग द डिक्शनरी। अभी मुझे पता है कि तू चीटिंग करेगा, बट कोई नहीं, बता तू। पेरीपटेटिक, PERIPATETIC। वो नहीं समझ आ रहा तो अनकॉन्शनेबल का बता दे। वो नहीं समझ आ रहा तो एबरेशन का बता दे। चल 3-4 वर्ड्स पूछ रही हूं मैं, ये सब नॉर्मन लुइस वर्ड पावर मेड इजी से ही है। यही भ्रम, यही डेलुलू है ना जो लोगों को गिरा देता है। नॉर्मन लुइस कर लिया मैंने, मैं आज तक नहीं कह सकती हूं कि नॉर्मन लुइस कर लिया मैंने। कर कैसे लेते हैं? आपको याद है वो वर्ड्स? याद है? द मेन थिंग इज रिटेंशन। हाउ कैन यू से कर लिया मैंने? कर लिया क्या कोई सिलेबस है? कंप्लीट कर लिया वहां से वहां तक, याद कितना है अनमोल? डेलुलू एक्सप्रेस से उतरो बच्चों, कुछ नहीं होने वाला है, वरना कैट नहीं निकलेगा आपका। कर लिया तब होता है जब मैं जो वर्ड वहां से उठा के पूछूं आपको याद है फटाफट फट। Yes, Aryan, very good. I like that. Peripatetic nature, that is like traveling from place to place. Unconscionable liar. Unconscionable liar is जिसका ज़मीर मर चुका है, इतना बर्बाद liar. Aberration is like, aberration is deviation from normal. Yes, Savitri, good. So अभी आपने देखा मैंने, I learn with phrases. Unconscionable liar. Peripatetic nature of the person. Peripatetic life. So you understand, peripatetic gypsies, nomads, ऐसा। Got it? So अनमोल, क्लास में आके वेग तरीके से सवाल मत पूछियो भाई। मेरा वीक है वोकैबुलरी, मैंने बोला कि हाँ भाई ये पढ़ो, ये कर लिया, कुछ नहीं होने वाला। कॉन्जेनिटल लायर, हाँ कॉन्जेनिटल, लेयर नहीं है, LIAR अनमोल। चल लेयर का मीनिंग बता दे, LAIR। चलो भाई, परसेप्शन बदलो, देश बदलेगा। मोदी अकेला क्या क्या बदलेगा समझ नहीं आता मुझे। कैट भी अकेला क्या क्या बदलेगा। ये सोचो कि हमें नहीं आता और हमें करना है। ऑलराइट, चलिए गाइस, आई विल साइन आउट नाउ, गोइंग फॉर डिनर। किसी को ज्वाइन करना है तो आ जाओ प्लीज। बाय एवरीबॉडी, टेक केयर।